Let's begin with a simple way to start using Fibonacci spirals. In this case, we place it on the potential bullish reversal candle at established support, which now has a green close immediately above it. In this case, it's also important there's established resistance because it's a highly preferable feature we can scroll in and out on to get the spiral to contact a recent swing point. Here works out well that it contacts the downswing point at recent resistance. With this layer of confirmation to increase the spiral's validity, switch from auto scale, which the chart is usually set to by default, to lock scale. This way, the spiral will not shift or distort when moving back and forth on the chart or scrolling to zoom in and out. The end result in this highly range-bound context is the spiral identifies an approximate price and time range of significance when it contacts the next downswing at this established resistance around the 160s. Here's the breakdown from another perspective. Established support, established resistance. Price drops back to support, and the reversal candle, with a green close over its high right away, starts a swift upswing. When price eventually returns to established resistance centering on 160, there's a swift reversal. At the time, price makes contact with the spiral in this previously identified bearish area. This intersection of the spiral at clear resistance adds extra strong resistance potential against rising price, as shown how even high green volume is countered by a downswing with relatively average selling volume. Price 1 and price 2 of the spiral are placed on the low and high of the reversal candle. Inverting to where price 1 is on the high of the reversal candle and price 2 is on the low of the candle doesn't work well because we want the spiral to arc up and to the right for the context of an upswing that would face resistance at the clear 160 area. We could try to keep this orientation but extend price 1 up to the high of the downswing from resistance. The spiral intersects with resistance, but not at a time and place where price is trading, so it doesn't become relevant. Okay, then back to the original spiral position. But we extend price 2 up to the downswing high. The spiral does intersect with March's downswing, but not near its high. This partly contributes to its intersections at resistance occurring earlier and lower than the original spiral that contacted March's downswing at a higher position to more exactly contact price in early June. Back here around 160, when it was earlier support, there was a similar bullhammer dragonfly doji type candle. Applying the spiral the same way, then go back to auto scale, but the spiral can't quite contact the previous downswing, which went above earlier resistance, so it's not that reliable later on. Not to mention, price doesn't even contact the spiral. So using this peak above 207, even when using different spiral orientations, doesn't work out that well, especially since 207 is slightly above 200 and the more established resistance under 200. Earlier, when price climbed up to new highs in the upper 180s, there was a similar bull hammer candle reversal, not that swift, but an eventual upswing nonetheless. Place the spiral like before. With auto scale still on, we can't confirm the spiral is more valid, as it doesn't run through the recent peak at 188. However, when we extend up, the spiral does intersect the downswing quite well. So later, when price returns to the upper 180s, where the spiral also intersects, there is indeed some well-defined resistance. And you see auto scale should be changed to lock scale, so as not to distort the spiral after it's in position. In any case, this example shows how the spiral isn't magic, because although resistance is stronger around the time price intersects it, selling was inconsistent and lowering with fewer red days and lower volume, so it only stalled rising price. And that's the thing with Fibonacci spirals, they just help validate and confirm times when resistance and support could be stronger. If there's no follow-through with a reversal, price, like in this case, could not reverse and consolidate higher. Also, this wasn't a well-defined range. Like the first example, clear trading ranges tend to help spiral usefulness too. Though even when there is no clear rectangular range, spirals could still be useful to highlight areas of greater interest if said areas are well-defined landmarks on the chart. For instance here, price is starting to sharply reverse. Long-term support in this non-range-bound context would naturally concentrate around the nice round 100 level, which also attracted high-volume events in the past, with the gap down and later gap up around the same range near the 100 level. And oh look, the peak downswing of the current bearish reversal originates from a bearish engulfing candle pattern. How convenient, price 1 and 2 of the spiral can go on the high and low price of the bearish engulfing. Scroll in and out, try to get the spiral on a prior reversal point, the more significant the better, like this gap up downswing, just for extra validity of the spiral's position. Then, like before, switched to lock scale. See here, the spiral intersects with support. It's far from perfect, but this is how it works in real life. Not perfect all the time, but it does identify the approximate time during this very volatile period at established support when support could still firmly oppose falling price. Not the most accurate, but not bad in precision in the long-term context. And again, the spiral is more of a tertiary, not even secondary validation and confirmation of a price and time range. We could try changing the spiral's orientation again or extending it, but in most cases we don't get the coverage to the right and down for the context of falling price. Also, since it's not a clear rectangular range, there is no clear upswing to extend down to. The most major upswing area is of course way back at the 80s in this bullish reversal range, and that produces similar results to the original spiral position. This also shows how, like any tool, the spiral is less accurate the larger it extends in terms of price and time range. Perhaps the spiral more than any other tool, since it is so dynamic and incorporates the price and time axis of the chart. Oh, check this out. Price recently bounced up from around 100 after a gap down. The gap is filled, and the spiral can highlight how resistance has been persisting at gap fill resistance around 110. And the spiral doesn't contact a previous swing point neatly, if at all. But that's not a big deal, since the spiral isn't extended as big like before, and it's an extra layer of validation that might not always be possible. And in case you were wondering, this tool can of course be applied to other markets and times, going from relatively stable stocks to the currently crashing crypto market. Price flattened and rose for a bit, now sinking back to previous historic lows. We use the Fibonacci spiral in much the same way to identify this area in time as another significant barrier to falling price. Whether this historic support range holds at the first fib extension range remains to be seen, but the spiral is that extra layer of validation that shows it is indeed a significant price and time range. Going to another time period and a different market, in this case Forex, we apply the spiral like we've been doing so far. Except now, let's focus on those vertical lines with the aspect of time using the Fibonacci time zone tool. The spiral intersects with the 8 time zone line at the clear support range, and this gives more confluence and reliability about the significance of this range. There are also other ways to use the spiral, but what we've been doing so far is the most simple and reliable way to use it. Just remember, it's more of a tertiary, not even secondary form of confirmation and validation of other tools like Fibonacci retracement or time zone lines. So you could apply spirals diagonally with swing points and trends, and even nest them together in ranges, but that gets complex and messy. So if you are interested in those other ways of using the Fibonacci spiral, leave a comment below to show you're interested. And you could also do the same if you're interested in coverage of more Fibonacci tools, like the retracement or extension levels and time zone lines.